This is chapter 4, number 53. They're saying if you take into account the cable that has a mass, how would that affect the acceleration? Well, let's do it without the cable first. So we have the mass A, box A, and so that has... This is not digging. There we go. So there's a force of gravity, and here is the normal force. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So, from down here is the force of gravity on box B, and there's no normal force. But there's tension in the rope here. It's a T, not a J, and here's tension. Okay, so let's take the sum of the forces for box A. Sum of the forces. Oh, but this is key. The most important part here is showing the x and y axis. Because here we can make this the x-axis and this the y-axis. And so the forces in the y direction cancel out, or divide out, however you want to say it. But here, since the acceleration is, in this case, the tension, and then it goes over, and the acceleration here is downward, we want to make downward the x direction. And this the y direction. Okay, so you picture this box moving along. It's moving in the x direction, just like this one is moving downward in the x direction. So keeping everything in the same direction, so to speak. So the sum of the forces in the x direction. You know what? I'm going to skip doing part A and part B. I'll just put it all on one line. So I see, in this case, it's being pulled in the positive x direction, so I'll make that tension. Here the positive x direction is mbg. Okay. And in the minus direction we have tension. So that's, we looked at both boxes, MA and MB. To see their velocity. So since these cancel out, or divide out, subtract out, what's left is, when you solve for A, you get dun 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 dun. Here's the acceleration. This is if you say that the mass of the cable is negligible. However, the one we're doing, number 53, is saying it is not negligible. So mass has a cable. I said that funky. The cable has mass. So we'll label it like that. The mass of the cable equals the mass of the cable. If I want to look at just this part,